the studios here at 106.5 WPPM LP Philadelphia. All right, look, I'm excited about today for so many reasons, right? But I have some serious concerns. Right now, hiring feels broken. Employers say they can't find qualified talent. Job seekers say they can't get seen. Here's the truth. Listen to me. We don't have a talent shortage. We have a clarity crisis. Talk to me, right? The rules of hiring have changed. AI is writing resumes. Algorithms are screening people. And too many are still using old logic to make new decisions. Great candidates aren't defined by resumes anymore. Great employers aren't defined by brand alone anymore. And if you're preparing for 2026 without adjusting how you hire, how you position talent, or how you define value, you're already behind. So today, my goal is to cut through some of that noise, what needs to stop, what needs to shift, and what both employers and job seekers must understand to move forward with confidence. All right, let's get into it. You know I do this consistently. This is the work I do at East Coast Executives. We're an executive search firm. Companies come to us when they're looking to add diverse talent to their recruitment pipelines. That's the work we do. Talent in general, but we tap into a lot of different talent pools. So with that being said, I did a show years ago called the Career Seeker Show here at this station in Philadelphia, 106.5 Philly Cam. I did the show here with two amazing people, Alberta Bloom, Tiffany Sutherland, and all. Don't let me forget my cameraman, Will Martin. Shout out to Give It Up. Bruce Savage, B Savage. It was a great team. We did a great show. But what made the show great was that we had great guests. So back in November of 2019, one of my co-hosts, Alberta Bloom, introduced me to a young lady. And she is here with us today. 6 years later, she is here with us today. So I'm going to bring her to the stage. Hold on one sec. Let me bring her to the stage for all my people out here watching us on LinkedIn. Wow. Everybody in Philly, I just want you to know I'm bringing somebody to the stage, right? That's amazing. She's local. She's one of us. She screamed "Go Birds" when she came in here. I'd like to introduce you to, again, somebody that was here 6 years ago, she tells me. Colleen, what's up?
How are you, Kenneth? Good to see you.
I'm so excited to have you on the show today. I'm really excited. I'll tell everybody, Colleen, if you can see her on the feed, she always makes me feel like I'm underdressed. I should have known this, but it's freezing. It's like 20 degrees outside. I'm in my Philly hoodie. I'm representing, of course, but Colleen, thank you for coming through in this cold weather, trekking through in the snow to hang out with me on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. I appreciate you.
Happy to be here. Happy to be back.
So what's going on? Tell my audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So, 6 years ago, sitting in this very seat.
Love this story.
With Kenneth and Alberta Bloom. We miss you today, Alberta. Launched Bi3 Careers. So Bi3 Careers is a company that helps people get jobs. And it's called BI3 for three is BI3. So it's be insightful, be impactful, be inspirational.
Oh, I like it.
All right. And then the 3 is for the candidate, the client, and then for Bi3, my company.
Okay.
So, there's a reason for that. And it's because we want to make sure that everybody is thought about through the process. Through
the process. Yeah, that's what we do in Philly. We do these processes. Shout out to the Sixers as well. Hey, listen. So I didn't know. Did we not cover that day you were starting the business? Okay. So 6-year anniversary. Now, if I'm looking at the timelines, right? So 2019, you made it through the pandemic.
Yeah. Starting a company 3 months before the biggest pandemic in 100 years was challenging. But I always say now, if I made it through COVID, we can make it through anything.
You know what? That's a good way to take that. And you're still here. So kudos to you and your team over at BI3. LinkedIn is such a good place for me. It allows me to stay kind of close to people that I know. So I've been watching the stuff that you do. And if you can tell us a little about what your organization does and how you support both employers and job seekers.
So first of all, I just want to thank you for having me on your show. And it is great to be back.
This isn't your last time coming on the show. You know that. We're going to have you back again. I'm setting up this kind of coaching corner platform where I'm going to have coaches on from time to time. And you're already on my list of people that will be back.
Well,
I hope.
Thank you. And I will always come back.
Yes,
whenever
thank you.
ask. And so BI3 does do a couple of different things. So, my background is in placement, and I've been placing people for over 20 years. I also am a certified life coach, and that's what we talked about that day. Was my career coaching. So I do career coaching, but I do placement as well. And BI3 places people in contract to hire, and direct hire positions. I also coach some of the people that we place, but then I also coach just, people that need coaching. And I coach anywhere. I have a couple different coaching programs. Some of them are for recent college grads. Some of them are for people in career transition. And then I also just recently started working with a partner. They have it's called My Next Story, and they have an AI platform that kind of connects into my coaching program that is for any age.
Really?
It's fantastic. I will connect you to that.
Yeah,
founder.
I was going to say I need to talk to them. Yeah, we should have them on the show.
Jeannie Palmieri, Mike Razzie, they will come on the show.
Yeah.
They're local. This platform is so cool.
Jeannie and Mike, I have plenty of seats. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. My invitation goes out right now. So if you're checking in to support Colleen, let's share a conversation. I love it. Friends of Colleen are friends of ours here on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. All right, Colleen. So keep me going. Now tell me more about how this is working out.
Okay. So, like I said, COVID was difficult, but this business and every business is about relationships, maintaining relationships, even when there's highs and lows, and hiring goes in cycles, right? So we, through COVID, brought in another partner. So that was, and I think like relationships and partnerships are key to expanding your footprint, right? And making things better for your clients and for candidates. So at that time, I started working with a company that does business agility. They had a platform that measured the agility of organizations. So I piggybacked onto that, and we started doing some consulting work, hiring scrum masters, project managers, different kinds of people to help organizations become more agile. And that was critical during COVID.
Yes.
So that helped. That then into 2021, we went back to a little bit more of our traditional staffing, project management, business analysis, process improvement. And, I always say AI is wonderful, but AI is just an extension of process improvement.
For sure.
It's making things, it's doing things smarter, better, faster, right?
Yeah.
It's no different than Lean Six Sigma was, 40 years ago. It just, it's using technology, and, we're going to continue to use technology in different, better ways. So, primarily we do focus on working with project management offices, PMOs. So the majority of the people that we place are they work between business and technology. So they are a liaison between everyone in the organization, and they are, helping drive business outcomes, key metrics, and, making an impact. So I always like to stay true to what it is we're good at. We can place different people. We do place people in IT leadership roles. But, our bread and butter and my expertise has really always been in the project management space, project management, process improvement, business analysis. And these are things that necessarily can't be offshored all the time. And they're very relationship driven. So they're not always going to be replaced by AI. They'll be improved by AI, but they most likely are not going to be replaced by AI.
Interesting. Yeah, I definitely can understand that. And I think, our listeners on the candidate side and even on the company side, I think they need to understand that when we talk about AI, people get really scared thinking that everything is going to be robotic and they're going to lose their jobs. And I really think it's more a matter of what it can add to the work you're currently doing, or you learning how to use the tool to add to the work you're doing. All right. Listen, Colleen, let's get to it. I know, sometimes there's certain days when I wish my show was an hour. I know we could do an hour show. I know we could knock an hour show out.
Are you saying I talk too much?
No, I'm saying when we get together, we talk too much, right? And then if we threw Alberta in the seat over here, we'd probably just do a whole 2-hour show. Yeah, right. All right, listen, let's start here. So give us one piece of advice for employers and one for job seekers preparing for 2026.
Sure. So on the employer side, I would say, good talent moves quickly. So, the long interview process can't happen because you will lose your talented people to other people that move faster.
Sure.
So it's, and it's also an experience for the candidate. So you have to start building that experience from the get-go. And if you let too much time go by, you're not transparent about the time frame of when you want to make the hire, you're creating a negative experience for that candidate, right? So if they are working with a company, maybe it wasn't even their top 5 companies, but they felt like they were seen and they were heard during that process and that it was transparent, guess where they're going to go?
Yeah, that company's going to move up the desirable list.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's what I would say. Job employers, hiring managers just need to move the process faster, and they also need to be transparent with their timeframes. And I do think companies are improving in this area. I have seen it.
I think as the talent acquisition teams and hiring managers both start to understand that the experience is so important when it comes to top tier talent, and they have other opportunities. I spoke about this on LinkedIn recently. Candidates have moved from really tracking things down to having opportunities because there's so much information out here in space. Mm-hmm. There's hundreds and thousands of jobs coming at you, and you can kind of look around and new companies popping up every day that are offering really interesting compensation packages and overall work packages that the big brand, you don't necessarily, just because you're a big brand name doesn't mean you're the desired employer. And that's a real thing out here. So talk to me about this. What is one hiring mistake you're seeing right now that has to stop?
I would say it goes back to the timing thing. And so from an employer perspective, is timing and transparency. From a candidate perspective, I will say not being able to clearly articulate your value quickly. So if I'm interviewing somebody, and I interview people every day, almost all day, right?
Yes.
If I'm not with candidates, I'm with clients. If I'm not with Kenneth.
There we go, right? If you're not here Monday at 2 p.m. on 106.5 FM Philadelphia, indeed.
So being able to clearly articulate your value and the outcomes and impacts that you've had in an organization. So, typically in an interview, the first question is, tell me about yourself.
Yeah. And
if somebody takes 5 to 10 minutes, even 8 minutes to tell you about themselves, what are they going to do when they're sitting in front of a VP and they say, tell me how your project's going?
Sure.
Tell me how that implementation's going. No executive is going to be okay with that answer being 8 minutes long.
I understand.
So, and when I work with recent college grads and when I work with people that are later in their career, mid-career, whatever, I always help them. I actually have a template, and anybody that's listening, if you want to reach out, I can give you the template that basically has the guideline for how to create a "This Is Me" pitch. It's about, it should be a 90 second to 2 minute story about yourself.
Okay.
Your strengths, the impact you had in an organization, and what you're looking to do.
This is me pitch. That's an interesting concept in itself.
Mm-hmm.
I like it though. I think storytelling is so much, it's really a big part of someone's success variable. Your ability to get in and out of stories that not only position you as someone that's a hero or someone that's very much solving problems, but also your ability to be concise. And I always say, people get taught the STAR technique in the interview setting, but it doesn't leave you there. You can take that technique throughout your career and use it. Situation, task, action, result. Absolutely. When you're answering that question that you just spoke about from a senior level executive. Yes. Tell me about the project you're working on. Run through that again. Just pull that back out and deliver and get out of that and wait for the next question.
Absolutely. That is part of our coaching program.
Yes, I love that. There we go. See?
Great minds.
I try to tell people I really do this. I think people think I just get up here and talk on the radio and sound all crazy. But no, I actually do this work consistently and have done it for a long time. But I always like when experts like Colleen come to the show, because I think there's something to be gained from listening and seeing how other people do things. And I think that's a story for career success in itself.
Agreed. Whether you're a recent college grad or you're 20 years in, you have to be a clear, concise communicator. Continuous
learner as well, right?
Yes.
All right. So tell me this. How has the definition of a great candidate changed, and how should job seekers respond?
Okay, that is great. And I would say, all right, so what is a great candidate? So a great candidate is like what we just said. They're a
Mhm.
clear, concise communicator. They also have to be able to deal with ambiguity. And one of the things I hear from hiring managers all the time is they interviewed great, they've done okay, but they're constantly coming to me for guidance, advice, support.
Mhm.
I want somebody that can make the decision.
Okay.
So and even on my own team, if somebody can't deal with about 80% of the information and move forward, that frustrates me. I want them to just move forward, like with the information that I provided.
Well, you have your work to do as well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I think being good communicator, and then being able to deal with ambiguity, these are the power skills, right? Some of the other power skills that like my clients say is, being a good problem solver, which goes in line with being decisive, right? And, whether you're a recent college grad or 20 years in, these skills, you have to have them. If you don't have them, you're not going to be successful.
So all right, let's talk about that. So, the skills for success. So
Mhm.
based on that shift, what skills matter most in 2026?
Emotional intelligence.
Okay, I love that. I love that. The EQ piece.
Yes. Your IQ will only get you so far.
Mm.
It's your EQ that will get you further.
For sure.
So I talk about that in my branding when I talk to college students, high school students, learning, well, first of all, to protect your brand, and then also learning what is emotional intelligence.
How do they receive that when they're early career? Talk to me about that experience.
Well, I will say I feel like universities are getting better at it, and this is something interesting. I work with Westchester University and Widener.
Shout out to Westchester. Shout out to Widener too. I got family members or graduates from both. So yeah, let's give it up for both of those schools. Great institutions here in the greater Philadelphia area.
And I went to Widener too. So.
Oh, congratulations. All right, you're a Widener alum. I like it.
So one of the things I noticed is the professors that have worked in not just in academia, they are teaching their students that they need to have those skills.
Okay.
They need to be good communicators. They need to be problem solvers. They're talking to them about branding. They're talking to them about emotional intelligence, also adaptability. So, with all the talk about AI, you have to be adaptable.
Sure.
You have to be okay with change. And the people that don't change don't have strong emotional intelligence. If you can't read a room, and I'll tell you quickly. So we had our holiday party on Thursday night.
Okay.
One of our new hires attended. He hasn't started yet at our site.
Oh, nice. His first his welcome to the company was the holiday party. Oh.
And you know what? He jumped right in, learned what the person across from him did.
Okay.
And started talking about that. Right.
Nice.
He was sitting next to me, asking me a couple questions about Bi3. He was able to read that room really well. And I was like, this guy, now when he starts on his first day, I'm not going to be as nervous, right? Mm-hmm. Because I saw him in action.
So the recruiter in me is going to ask, how did you find this star candidate?
Well, I will say one of the things that I feel has made me a success throughout my career is that, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect in this world, right? People can interview well. I get a good gut feel about people.
Okay. That helps.
Yeah. So, and also knowing our client's culture. If we understand our client's culture, we can find better candidates that will fit their culture. Someone that will fit well in a startup environment is going to be very different than someone that might fit well in a standard corporate structure.
Sure.
So when we're and we did that whole insights piece. So before we try to look for candidates, we get the insights from our clients to understand what their culture's like. It's not just about the job description. It's so much more than the job description.
It's interesting that you say that, because for years, one of the first questions I would ask when we onboarded a new client at East Coast Executives, one of the first things I would ask when they gave us jobs to engage, tell me what's not on the job description that makes a person successful here in this role. And know what? For all the recruiters out here that's stealing my stuff anyway, that's one for you. You can have that one right there. But no, it's a very important question to ask, because there's always something. And it could be based on, working with the hiring manager and how they operate, or working with the team and how it operates. But there's always something that's extremely important that's not listed on that position description that they're looking for in a candidate. So for you to have that gut feeling about this particular person is kind of one of those things, right? What is it that Colleen likes and wants in an employee? And he was able to hone in on that. That's amazing.
probably frustrates my recruiters because sometimes I'm like, no,
Right.
they just won't fit. And it's like the why. Well, the why, I don't feel it. I either feel it or I don't, and I don't feel it. And I have, a son that's graduating from college, and he listened to me when he was my intern one Christmas vacation.
Okay.
He listened to me for the whole interview people. And one time he walked out of the room. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, you're not going to hire that person. I'm like, how do you know? He said, because this, and this. And I was like, you're right.
Do you mind if I ask, does your son go to Widener?
No.
Okay. All right. I was just curious. I'm like, those legacy.
No, he wanted to go to the West Coast. So
really,
he's an outside kind of kid.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I
like it.
And skateboards and all that stuff.
Oh, I'm liking him already. So he's not coming back. It's as I see like 7 inches of snow out here. Yeah. He's not coming back. I take it.
He always says he'll come back someday to raise his family, but he did get a job with the Padres. So.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. A job with the Padres. Mm-hmm. I have a really good friend who was I don't know, I think director of marketing at the Padres a while back. Yeah, really great person. Has been on the show, actually.
Really?
Yeah, has been on this show. I'll share with you afterwards.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. I have another question for you. And what role does AI play in creating or destroying hiring clarity?
Okay, so creating. So it can speed up the process for an employer because it'll screen the resumes. And it will discard the resumes that don't match the keywords, but nothing is ever going to replace that human gut instinct, right? So unfortunately, you might have, and sometimes I'll say this person's fantastic, but their resume doesn't reflect it.
Yes.
And we will at Bi3 take the time to improve somebody's resume on our own, just to make sure that they get that interview.
Yeah.
And I'll say, hey, do you know that like you have all these skills that aren't really reflected on your resume?
All the time. Yeah.
And it can be frustrating for us, but like, when you have a good person. So the AI piece is it is probably screening out a little bit more than it's screening in. But for a candidate perspective, you can get your resume done on AI using AI. Chat can put a great one together for you in 5 minutes. But you know what? We know that resume was written by AI.
For sure. Listen, I was speaking to someone, they engaged in one of the comments on a post. They were in the comments on a post that I placed on LinkedIn last week. And they were speaking about, if we're supposed to change our resumes according to each job that we apply for, it's just, how do we avoid using AI? Like, we need to do that to, one time, and then just to create new stuff. And I was like, yes, you have to use it, but nobody knows your story as well as you. Nobody knows where you add value as well as you. I love the responses that we can receive and some of the copy that we can use from an AI prompt. However, it has nothing up against what you can share about yourself.
Right.
And I think that's the key right there.
Being able to articulate your value and tell that this is me story that's the difference between getting a job and not getting a job. Someone may interview you and you might tell your story so well that they'll say, I don't love you for this job, but I love you for this company.
Happens all the time. Yes.
Right. That's how my son got his job with the Padres.
I love it.
He interviewed with someone in marketing. He's not a marketing guy.
Okay.
His major is business analytics, but they hired him.
Nice. He's a baseball guy? Does he like?
No. He actually played baseball for like 1 year of his life.
Okay.
He was football, basketball.
Yeah.
But he loves sports through and through.
Okay.
He just loves sports.
Well, congratulations to him. That's amazing. I'm not surprised because he's your son. I can see him being successful in that way.
Kids,
I'm sure. Yeah. Listen, for the other two, your brother's setting the tone right now. He's like chilling with the Padres. Y'all better lock in. You better call somebody, but lock in. Or know what? Just leverage your brother's success and, turn that into some opportunities. Your network is your net worth, right?
That's right. And, that's he leveraged his network.
Yeah.
And, and I always tell people, networking is fantastic. And it's all about relationships. I think we started out with that, like the experience, right? So if you can create the best experience for yourself, you do that by leveraging your network. You go to the right meetings. You for a job seeker, you don't just go to where there's other job seekers. Go to where they're talking about knowledge, leadership. That's where the hiring managers are. So be specific in where you're spending your time too.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. So tell us as we close out, let us know what's happening that's exciting. Let our listeners know how to stay connected to you and your work. Like give us all of that. Give us the close.
Well, so I would say, best of luck to all the job seekers out there, because 2025 was difficult. 2026 may be a little bit better, but the better skilled you are, the more knowledge you have about the hiring process, the better results you're going to get, right? So know what outcome you're looking for and do all those things that track to that, right? And I wish everyone the best of luck in a great 2026. And don't be scared of AI. It's only going to help us. And but relationship building is the key to success.
Indeed. How do our listeners stay connected with you and the work you do?
So I'm on LinkedIn, Colleen DiFabio, Bi3 Careers, www.bi3careers.com. And I would be, I always say I'm happy to talk to somebody for 15 minutes to give them some guidance.
Love it.
I will always help people.
I love it. Well, we appreciate that. And we appreciate you for coming and hanging out with us today on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. All right, listen, as I destroy the studio here today, things are different now. I understand that. But I also want to let everybody know that if you're waiting for 2026, you're late. It's already here. The companies that win won't be the ones that have the most applicants. They'll be the ones with the clearest expectations. They'll be the ones where professionals who thrive are applying, and they're applying everywhere, but they'll be the ones that are attracting those people. You got to understand how to position your value. AI is not the enemy. Technology isn't the problem. Confusion is. And I get it. People should be confused. And the leaders who reduce confusion on both sides of hiring, they'll be the ones to shape the future of work. If today's conversation added value, share it, please. It's really important now. I'm seeing this out here. I'm seeing confusion. I'm seeing a lack of clarity. And hopefully this show today added some value on both sides of that, hiring managers and candidates. That's why we brought Colleen here, because we know that she is an expert, or at least very much a person who understands how to leverage and how to speak on both sides of that equation. The information is meant to travel. So please don't hesitate to share this with a friend. If you're watching us on LinkedIn, like, engage, share. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. If you're rolling around Philly on 106.5 WPPM, the stream is available on the WPPM website. So please lock in. Listen, it's the holiday season. I know that a lot of you guys are stressed. So we want to bring clarity to careers, culture, and community. And we do it each and every Monday on 106.5 FM, WPPM Philadelphia. All right. I want to encourage everybody to engage with us on our social media platforms. We have amazing guests week by week. We're going to have Colleen's people that do the AI work come in and hang out with us as well. So I'm excited about that in 2026. If there's somebody that you think we should have on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show in 2026, I don't know, maybe reach out. Let us know. You can hit us up, 646-600-9873, 646-600-9873. And I will definitely pay attention to that information and try to make that happen for you. All right. Speaking of making things happen, to all my people here in Philly, there's a lot of good stuff going on. I was talking to Jermaine Jackson earlier today. Please lock in with the things that are happening over at CareerLink and some other places here. The Urban League of Philadelphia doing some amazing things to upskill into place professionals. I don't care where you go and get the information. I love that you came here to get it, but I just think you need to get it. We're in a world where we can't sit back right now. It's moving really fast, and I want you to move with it, and hopefully we can support and assist you here on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. All right, until next Monday. We do it each and every Monday, 2 p.m., 106.5 FM Philadelphia. Once again, WPPM LP Philadelphia, 106.5 FM. Kenneth L. Johnson, thank you for joining us. I ended early. I was trying to, I'm like, I got to keep talking.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on one second. All right, we're good. You were amazing.
I don't know.